afternoon today, and glad for everybody present, the viewers, as well as our staff and the people here. We'll call the meeting to order, and we will observe a moment of silent prayer or silent meditation. Thank you. The next item on our agenda will be to adopt or revise today's agenda. Do I have a motion to revise or adopt today's agenda?
I move that we adopt.
Second.
There's a second. All in favor? All right. Presentation of awards. I believe, George,
We have the opportunity today to present to Brian Floyd 6 years of service for your service and dedication to the citizens of Pitt County from the Social Service Board. I would just like to say it has been a pleasure working with you, Brian, throughout these years. You know, we had some rough years working on our budgets and everything, but you have been real supportive to Pitt County Department of Social Services, and I appreciate that. So we just want to present this plaque to you.
Thank you, sir.
Brian, would you like to say anything?
Well, just thank you to the team. You all do wonderful, wonderful work here, and there's no doubt that the people of Pitt County can certainly rest assured we have folks that are looking after their best interests, both on this board, but in the management team, and most importantly, the folks that we don't get to see here every day who are doing work right now to take care of our people in this county. And it is incredibly important work. It's going to be more and more important as time goes on with our current economic state, that we're very responsible about how we go about conducting these departments and services and looking ahead and planning ahead and that sort of thing. And I'm pleased that we are all in one accord about the work that we're doing, and thank you for your participation on the board, and for you guys allowing us to come in and allowing me to be part of the program here to serve on the board. So thank you so much. It's been a great 6 years, and I've learned an awful lot about the county, about how we're constructed, how important these services are, and about our people in the county, and it's just a privilege to do it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Floyd.
And also we'd like to present to Mr. James, we heard that today was your birthday, 88 years.
Wow.
I'd like to present this to you.
Hooray!
Now, I'm telling
Did you say 108 years?
You gotta share it.
You got to share everybody.
We're gonna put
I
candles.
appreciate that. It's a great deal.
I'm glad they didn't put 88 candles on.
Yeah. Certain fire codes against it.
I'm looking forward to many more.
Oh, great.
Thank you, and thank you for serving.
And that'll keep me going. You know that.
You know it.
Thank you for your service to this board, too. As a commissioner, we realize you got a broad scope, but we appreciate your interest, and is shown by your attendance and your interest in all of the items here and your support of that. We certainly appreciate that. The next item would be the minutes of the previous meeting, which you have in your packet. I believe that's pages 1 to 4, and we'd entertain a motion to accept those.
I move the approval of the minutes as made, Mr. Chairman.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Okay.
All right. George, if you would give us status of agency personnel.
At the present time, we have 19 positions within the Pitt County Department of Social Service that we are advertising for, and we have 2 that we're interviewing for, so we're moving forward in trying to get those positions filled. Since the last time we met, we have filled 3 positions. One was in social worker 2, public information assistant 4, and the social work supervisor 3, so we're making progress. And hopefully as we move into the next month, we will see more people hired in those different positions.
That will certainly help us with the loads that we've had and that have been described in many meetings previous. And we do appreciate commissioner support and our commissioner support in gaining that for us. That is very important to the constituents in the field, the actual recipients of this.
And I think you had like a listing of the people that you would hire first.
Yes.
Priority listing, you're using that?
Yes. What the county manager did, the last two lists, and we were able to advertise every 2 weeks, so we were able to take 10 positions at a time. So we're down to 9 positions. And on your list, you will see that those last 10 positions are listed as into that order in the event that we're not able to fill all of them at one time or advertise at one time. We have those on that priority. There's a list and that shows the number as to which will be number 1, which will be 2.
Okay, that's good.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Are there other questions or comments?
I'd like to know, you think there's going to be a shortage of finding these people, or there nothing out there that...
What we did, we advertised all our positions as work against. So in the event that people did not qualify for the income maintenance caseworker 2, we would still be able to bring people in as a 1 and work against the 2. So we went ahead and did that up front to just be on the safe side, so we would not have to go back out and re-advertise. But if people qualify for the 2, we will hire those individuals first. But if we do not have enough individuals, then we'll have ones that we can hire to come in and work against that 2 position.
In reading, the one thing that occurred to me was there opportunity for internal promotion, and it was there serious about that? Because when you work on a job and you're always looked over, it make you feel bad, and it's not good for morals. Well, that opportunity presented.
If you look at those 3 positions that we hired, there was internal promotion.
That's what I thought.
Okay, good.
We tried to move first inside, which creates another vacancy, but we want people to be able to be promoted in-house.
That's good. It makes the staff feel good about their employer.
Yes, are there other questions or comments? All right, we'll move to matters that require board action.
At the present time, we have the election of the chairman for the Social Service Board, so we're opening up for election of chairman.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Presiding Officer, I'd like to nominate Mr. Johnny Hamilton as chair of the board.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to still call you Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I move that we nominate him by acclamation.
Okay, so we have Mr. John Hamilton. Any
Aye.
other nominations? If not, then we'll vote. All in favor?
All in favor?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hamilton, for being the next chairman of the Social Service Board. And at this time, I guess we'll switch chairs.
Oh,
Got a good man.
okay.
That mean I gotta move down?
I don't know.
No, I think you're safe.
Charles, yeah, that's yours, Mr.
Chair, I don't know. Will I feel different when I sit in this chair?
Well, no,
I don't think so. You'll be sitting in Brian's seat.
Oh,
I didn't pinch him.
Where's Brian?
You'll
at?
notice if it makes you act different.
Okay, now we have the election of vice chair. Mr.
Brian
Chair.
just disappeared.
It's over to you now.
okay. I'd like to open nominations for the, excuse me.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes? Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, you're talking to me.
pleasure, I'd like to nominate Mr. Charles Mayo as vice chair of the board.
And I move that we accept him by acclamation. as the Mr. Chairman.
Any other nominations?
If no objection.
If no objections, let's carry, let's vote. Do we have to change chairs now, Charlie?
I don't think so.
Oh,
No, he's been sitting here the whole time.
yeah. We don't want him to move, okay. All right. Now, we also have selection of the board members, 5th board member.
What is that?
I would offer, and I believe it's been gone through the proper channels, I would offer Rebecca Starkey as that. as that candidate.
Okay. All right. Is there a second to that?
I'd like to
I
say
move
that we
accept
accept
her
that
by
nomination
acclamation
by
also.
acclamation.
Okay. Well, let's call that to a vote. All those in favor? Okay. And she'll be contacted?
She'll be contacted and be here for our next board meeting in August. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we'll be at full staff as
Full
well.
staff, yeah.
All right, now if we can
At
just
least
get,
for a little while.
at least for a little while. Okay. Next, we're going to move on to the board chairman. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry.
Budget amendment.
The budget amendment,
Yes.
and that's on pages 9 and 10.
Yes, sir, we received $50,400 for special adoption assistance actions, and Ms. Dixon's going to tell you how we earned that money.
As you see, this year, we received $50,400, which is an increase from the amount we got last year, which was $32,000. But the purpose of this funding is to offer agencies that provide adoption services additional financial resources to improve their adoption program. The fund is paid to an agency that, number one, recruits the prospective adoptive individual, number two, provides pre-placement screening, three, trains the prospective adoptive individual, and lastly, provides monitoring and support for the placement. Since Departments of Social Services also receive federal funding to fulfill these tasks, in order to get this money, we have to complete a specific number of adoptions, which is our baseline that we're given. It's a formula. So in order to be eligible for this money, we had to have 7 adoptions this past fiscal year. So we met the baseline of 7. In addition, we did 7 additional adoptions, so 14 total adoptions that got us the $50,400. And I believe we have 3 additional adoptions, and we're waiting to hear, which should give us $3 more thousand. So this is great money for us to do recruitment. We are able to use this money to do our family finders also, so it's a great support, a huge support for us. So I'm really proud of staff for the work they did this year and making those adoptions happen.
Yeah, I think what's really important about this is that the staff was very active. They met those goals, as well as the fact that we got another $18,000 into our coffers, which is very helpful and very unusual in this day and time. Yeah, so I really commend you and the staff for doing this, and we've had presentations from them in the past, and I was very impressed with their quality of work.
I think this is a measurement tool. It shows that the production being awarded this extra, even in these times, it shows that the staff with their missions were producing. This was not a big generalized program. It is measured production when you hear it, and that the public should be really proud of and aware of.
Especially with so many
What's especially great about this funding is that by leveraging this dollars, it actually helps us leverage, other things like the family finders, which helps us meet other goals of finding permanency for children quicker. So there's a lot of benefits from this pot of money that we're able to pull together. So.
I think that's very good that we were able to get that, and I think probably other counties were seeking to get it as well. And the fact that we not only met the basic requirement, but went 100% above that, and plus having 3 more in the pipeline really shows how much the staff is working on meeting these goals, and I really appreciate that.
I'll let them know.
All right. Let's see, we next go on to the reports to the board.
Oh, business.
Business officer. Peggy.
Oh, she
Okay,
just
Ms.
did.
Quinn.
She just finished.
She just finished. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, you're moving over there. Oh, okay.
Today I wanted to report to the board and to the community about the Community Child Protection Team. The Community Child Protection Teams were established in 1991 as a response to increased reports of abuse, neglect, and dependency in North Carolina. There is a Community Child Protection Team in all 100 counties in North Carolina. The CCPT team, as we call ourselves, is a group of community representatives who meet on a regular basis to promote a community-wide way of dealing with abuse and neglect. And the CCPT team is not a DSS team. It is a community team. And this team should reflect the diversity in the community. The Community Child Protection Team was established to identify gaps and deficiencies in the child welfare system and to promote a community-wide approach in dealing with needs and conditions in the community that impact families. The long-term goal of the Community Child Protection Team is to provide safety, permanence, and well-being for children and families in Pitt County. The rationale for the CCPT team is that families have services and resources to care for their children. It's the community's responsibility to ensure that the gaps and deficiencies are identified when we're working with families. And the gaps and deficiencies can be different from community to community. It can be different from Farmville can be different from what the needs are in Greenville. And therefore, that's why this team is so important, because it identifies what the needs are in the individual communities in Pitt County. And then we can work toward meeting those needs for the families in those communities. It is the community's responsibility to ensure that the gaps and deficiencies are addressed. So it's not just a DSS issue, it's the community issues. The objectives of the Community Child Protection Team is to make sure that children are safe within the community's environment as much as possible, that parents are able to access community systems as needed and assist in parenting children, that the community's awareness is a catalyst for change, and therefore the community will become aware of the situations that could cause harm to children in the community. General statute General Statute 7B 1406 gives the DSS director the authority to establish the Community Child Protection Team in each county. And it also defines what the membership of that team should be and defines the responsibility of the Community Child Protection Team and establishes the division role in the community child protection activities. The strengths of the CCP team are to improve collaboration between agencies, increase member participation, case review systems. What we do is we bring cases before the Community Child Protection Team, actual cases that have occurred in Pitt County, and we look at those cases, and the team evaluates what was done well and what may have not been done well in those cases. And then we can look at establishing what the needs are for the families in the community, and then move forward to try to provide those resources if they don't already exist. Also, a strength of the team is a mechanism for including additional members on the team from the community. Okay. The CCPT mission statement is recognizing that child protection is everyone's responsibility and responding to child protection needs in more effective in responding to child protective needs, and that it's more effective before a child is harmed. The Community Child Protection Team is a team composed of agency representative, child advocates, and citizens at large, which will take action to identify and address gaps and deficiencies in services and resources through an annual report to the Board of County Commissioners. Each county CCP team, this is the mission statement for the CCPT team for North Carolina, but each county CCP team is encouraged to develop their own mission statement in regards to what resources need to be provided in the community. CCPT responsibilities include meeting at least quarterly, an annual report to the Board of Commissioners, end-of-year report to the Division of Social Services, and to review active child welfare cases to determine gaps or deficiencies in the community's resources that affect child well-being. The next Community Child Protection Team meeting in Pitt County will be July 19th, and it starts at 8 o'clock at the Health Department. And the Pitt County Child Protection Team meets quarterly, and the next meeting would be October the 18th. Records are maintained at these meetings, and what we try to do is create opportunities for citizens to respond to child welfare law, policies, or procedures. The mandated CCPT team members are the County Director of Social Services or a member of the Director's staff, a local law enforcement officer appointed by the Board of County Commissioners, an attorney from the District Attorney's Office appointed by the District Attorney, the Executive Director of the local Community Action Agency, the Superintendent of each local school administrative unit or the Superintendent's designee, and a member of the County Board of Social Services appointed by the Chair of the Board, which is one of the reasons why I'm presenting to the Board today, because the Pitt County Community Action Protection Team needs a member from our board to serve on that team. And so we would be asking the board today or at its leisure to, for the board chair to appoint a member to serve on Pitt County's Community Child Protection Team. It also requires a local mental health professional, local guardian ad litem coordinator, and the director of the Department of Public Health or a local health care provider. Citizens at large are also selected through the Board of County Commissioners, and we will be making the Board of County Commissioners aware that citizens at large need to also be elected to the team. And what we would be looking at with citizens at large is these would be folks that work in the community that deal with children or families on a daily basis that could give us input into the needs and resources that are needed in Pitt County. The Community Child Protection Team at its best includes an effective chairperson, dedicated membership, purposeful case reviews, determining system deficiencies and gaps in services, resources, and promoting change. In asking for a working member from the Social Services Board, we would be looking for someone who is dependable, can attend all the meetings, actively participate, and willing to cooperate with the meetings, will share information from within the community, has something to offer to facilitate child protection in the community, ensure that the team's protection recommendations stay on the front page. Someone that has influence in the community that can spread the word and be an advocate for children and families in the Pitt County community. The Community Child Protection Team end of year report. As we meet during the year on this team, we will be looking at issues that are on the forefront in Pitt County in terms of child welfare, and we'll be identifying issues that may not be common among other communities, but that are issues that we need to deal with within Pitt County. At the end of the year, the CCPT team will do an end of the year report to the county commissioners about what we have done in the community, what problems we identified, and what resolutions we came up with for those problems. And that end of the year report also goes to the State Division of Social Services in terms of what we're looking at as issues in Pitt County. So what we would desire from the board today is to either appoint a member today or in the future that will serve on this team. Right now we're meeting the third Thursday each quarter. As I said, the next meeting will be Thursday, July the 19th, which is next Thursday at 8 o'clock at the Health Department. And if you do not select a member today, the next meeting is October the 18th.
So it seems like we need to select someone today, otherwise we'll be pretty far behind the curve.
What about the new person?
The new person coming on?
Yeah.
That sounds like...
She has a good background with social services.
Yeah.
She's a part of the community and blah, blah, blah. I'd like to nominate her if you don't mind taking one.
I think that would be good. I second that.
Unless you want to do it, Charles.
I think she would have
'Cause I
more
don't wanna do
experience
it.
in that dealing and the intricacies of that than I would. Very honestly, I think she
I'm
could be
already
very
on
good
the,
at it.
I'm
I would
already
say.
on that other board
Yeah.
that deals with,
I believe the chairman has that right to appoint who he wants to.
that's
Yes,
what
sir.
it said.
Okay.
That's what, so you could just go
Okay.
right ahead and
Well,
appoint.
okay,
So you
well,
make your appointment.
what's her last name? Becky?
Becky Stark.
I
Star.
don't know.
Okay, well, as my first, one of my first actions as chairman, I'm appointing Becky Starhill,
Starkey.
Starkey, to the board of, let's see,
CCPT.
CCPT. And what we'll do is, we'll get in touch with her before that next meeting so
I'll
that
make
she can be
contact.
there.
I'll
You'll be
make
in contact with her?
Yes, I will make contact with her and make sure she knows what needs to be done.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
That
Thank
was
you.
good
Thank
poll
you.
of the board.
Thank you.
Okay. Next we have child support performance goals.
Ms. Michelle.
Michelle McCorkey.
Each year, the North Carolina Child Support Program establishes goals for each county child support agency and the state as a whole based on standard incentive measurements set forth by the Federal Office of the Child Support Enforcement. And the goals and objectives for the child support program include paternity establishment, percentage of cases under order, collection of current support, and collection of child support arrears. An additional goal has been included for the upcoming fiscal year because the state did not meet the 95% standard for the last data reliability audit and faces a potential for a financial penalty with that. A data reliability audit category has also been assigned. Paternity, if a county's achievement is 100% or above, the goal is to maintain but none above 104%. If a county's achievement is equal to or between 96 and 100%, the goal is a 1% increase. If the county's achievement is below 96%, the goal is a 2% point increase. We fell within the first category for paternity. Cases under order. If a county's achievement is 88% or above, the goal is to maintain, but none above 93%. If a county's achievement is equal to or between 79% and 88%, the goal is a 1% increase. If a county's achievement is below 79%, the goal is a 2% point increase. We fell within the first category. Collection rate. If a county's achievement is 67% or higher, the goal is to maintain. If a county's achievement is equal to or between 60% and 67%, the goal is a 1% point increase. If a county's achievement is below 60%, the goal is a 2% point increase. We are within the second category. Payment to arrears. If a county's achievement is 70% or higher, the goal is to maintain. If a county's achievement is equal to or between 65 and 70%, the goal is a 1 point increase. If a county's achievement is below 65%, the goal is a 2% point increase. We are within the second category. Total collections. Each county's total collections goal for the state fiscal year of 2013 will be what the county actually collected for the state fiscal year of 2012. The explanation was recognizing that we are still within a sluggish recovery of the economy. The notion was that the goal was to at least maintain in total collections what we did achieve for this fiscal year. And then we have the new category of data reliability. The efficiency rate for that is 95%. There were no differing for that because one, that is a first-time category, and two, the 95% is what we need to obtain as a whole in order to pass the auditing process. So here you have a breakdown of what our actual goals were for the fiscal year of 2012 and what we obtained as of June 30th for the end of this fiscal year, and what our upcoming goals are for the fiscal year of 2013. For our paternity, our goal was 105%. We actually obtained 108.03%. We exceeded our goal by 3.03%. For cases under order, our goal was 89.80%. We achieved 88.86%. We were within 0.94% of achieving that goal. Our collection rate was, the goal was 69.96%. We actually achieved 65.16%, and we were within 0.8% of achieving that goal. Our payment to arrears, our goal was 69.24%. We achieved 68.32%. We were within 0.92% of achieving that goal. Our total collections goal for this fiscal year was $13,960,100. We actually obtained, we totally collected $14,200,658. We exceeded that goal by 1.72%, and the 14.2 million will be what our goal will be for the upcoming fiscal year. And then we have our data reliability, which is assigned the same across the state as being 95%.
Well, looking at the what you've accomplished, and you've really done a very good job in the things that were missed were in less than 1%. But again, looking at the bottom line issues, you exceeded your collection because you were aiming for 13.9 and you came up with $14.2 million. And so that is really helpful to the citizens of Pitt County because we're getting more money in, and that means more children and more people are being helped by your effort as well as your team's effort.
And on behalf of the child support staff and our 4D deputies that work with us and our legal staff that work with us, I want to thank you for acknowledging the hard work that they have done for this past fiscal year. And I acknowledge also that these are efforts that have benefited the children here in Pitt County, and I thank you for those.
One other thing, if you could just, you had made a presentation earlier and you had mentioned some things that you have in the future plan. If you can give us maybe one or two of those again, because I've forgotten what they were, but they were some very interesting ways to continue to increase the collection rate.
Well, one of the things was that we are just now completing what we call the Operation Support Your Child project, which was spearheaded by the Sheriff's Department, and the works that were, or the documents that were served during that time, they also helped us achieve our goals for this past fiscal year, but they also served as a jump start for the upcoming fiscal year. And that is by way of serving the civil summons or the new actions that help us obtain new child support orders for the children of Pitt County and establish paternities where needed. In doing so, those types of things also help to address the upcoming goals. In terms of our newest goal, the data reliability, we have been working very closely with the state with their new reports that have been developed. We've been working those throughout this past fiscal year. We'll continue to work those as well. We have teletalk conference trainings upcoming for those to make sure that any type of deficiencies that we may recognize as we're doing the quality reviews are addressed, as well as upcoming training with our consultant.
Really applaud those. It's a very good suggestion. Any other discussion from other members?
I have one question. I'd like to know if paternity is an automatic thing.
What do you mean when you say, is it automatic?
If there is a dispute or if there is a situation where collecting child support is one of the reasons they're not paying it, is because he doesn't think he's the father.
When an individual comes in to make application for our services, paternity can be at issue, or paternity may not be at issue. If paternity is at issue, then individuals have an opportunity up front to either request testing or voluntarily sign documents within our office, which one would settle the issue of paternity, and two, be able to enter a child support order.
You just don't take the female's word for it, is my question.
And my answer is, if the individual has questions as to if he is actually the father or not, and paternity is at issue, then we have a means within our office to address that.
That's my
If paternity is not at issue, then, and they believe that they are not the father, then that's not an issue within our office that we can address. That would be up to the courts.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for that, President. Do you have something to say?
I'm very interested.
Okay. Okay.
And obviously the work,
good.
and I like the fact that Ms. McCorkle shared all of the people that were involved in this. This is not just one effort. This is her staff leading, but it represented deputies and everybody else working on that. And I would hope that such a well-publicized, I think that was important in that. And I think that maybe that will have some carryover effect, not just for the number of individuals that were apprehended, because the real issue is not just the dollars that she collects, because each of those dollars go back in. They're not saved, they're not banked. They go back into extending service in these times, and I think that's important. I hope the public fully understands that.
Thank you.
Following up on what Mary said, in other words, if there is a problem as to the father, social service does not pay to get the test. Is that what you're saying?
If paternity is at issue and the individual makes contact with our office, if we have a child support case already,
Yeah.
and paternity is at issue, and the individual has questions as to whether or not they are the father, we have a means to conduct paternity testing within our office. We request that they make payment. We do not let the fact that they do not have money, be a cause to delay the process of that child support application. But we do, if a child support order is entered, request that that payment be made within a certain number of days as repayment for that testing.
So you do that, and the people who are testing, they do pay if they are capable of paying.
Yes.
Okay, so
One of the reasons I asked that question, in case you're wondering, in moving about the community, you hear a lot of men say that they are not the father and this and that and the next thing, and that the social service automatically they take this female's word that he fathered a child for him and he's never been with her and stuff like that. So having a son, I like to know that the men have privileges or rights to know whether or not they are really the father of a child.
And-
Because women do make up things.
Once the child support case is set up with the lady coming in, they will contact the absent parent to see whether or not he was coming in. At that point in time, the absent parent can say that I do not think I am the father of the child. I would like to have a DNA sample done to make sure that I am the father of the child. And if there are questions about it, we encourage them to go ahead and do the sample so that there will be no questions later down the road who's the
I think
father of
that's
the child.
good.
But we do not force the absent parent to sign the documents. We go over the information with him. If he said, I do not think I'm the father, then we say, this is your option.
And we do always encourage individuals to contact our office and come in and speak with us if they have questions about their cases. If individuals are served with papers by a deputy, if individuals receive documents within the mail, we encourage them to come in and talk with us about the paperwork that they receive. Do not just ignore the paperwork, because whatever it is that we're requesting, the actions will continue, and ignoring it will not make it go away. We do encourage them to come in and talk with us. And I say all that and add, I am not an attorney, but these are the procedures that we use within our office.
that's good.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask, and a well-stated and a good process. We hope that the public maybe now is better educated on each of their rights and how the process will work. But I guess my question comes down, is there an average number or an average percentage of, at any given time, of paternity cases that you are working with? Is it 1/4% of
Some
all the
idea as to
cases?
how many.
Yeah, is it 10 cases a month? Is it one case a month?
We tend to average around, possibly, depending upon the months, maybe 50 or 60 paternities established each month. This would include orders that are entered And this also includes hospital affidavits that may be signed at the hospital when children are born. That type of information comes into us also that is recorded.
These are disputed fraternities.
No, not all of them are disputed.
all of them.
No. The
See-
documents that are signed at the hospital, those would be acknowledgments. Those are that's considered voluntary, but that type of information is also recorded.
I have one question more for this. Let's say that a young lady lives in another county. Do you have any coordination between one county and the next? Or if she reaches over there and say he fathered one over there in another county, say Martin, or I'm just using that as an example, how far do you reach as far as
There is no residency requirement for an individual to make an application here in our office. It could be that an individual works here in Pitt County and lives in Beaufort, but it is for some reason more convenient for her to come into our office to make that application. They can come into our office. Anyone has a right to make an application. They can come into our office and apply for our services. Once we assess that child support application, we determine from there where is most appropriate to send it for case processing. It could be that that application needs to be sent to a neighboring county to process if we have no parties that live here in our county. It could be that that application is most appropriate to be sent to another state or perhaps even another country. We do have reciprocity with some other countries. So in terms of our services can be far-reaching, but in processing the case, we determine which way it has jurisdiction or what is most appropriate to process that case.
All right, suppose this individual that we're talking about is not the father. Then what happens?
If paternity is at issue, it is dependent upon that person to raise the question of paternity.
and if he
To
has
say,
been
I don't believe that I'm the father, and request testing.
But now, you see this on television too a lot. So this guy is not the father. So that meant that somebody is.
Right.
hope so.
We hope so. But, and then do you check if she says there's two, and this happens, I know, there are two now, it's got to be the other one. Do you then test that particular one? Because we're talking about big bucks.
Yes. We have individuals come in and make what we call renames, where they come in and name someone else.
So, well, I'm sure that I know that you do.
So what happens when you have forced one man to pay child support for another man's child?
What
Is
do you mean
there
when you
any
say what
kind of-
happens?
Hmm?
What do you mean when you say what happens?
Let's get his money back.
Does he get his money back? Let's say
That
my
is
son
dependent
paid
upon-
for his
that's-
son's child.
It's dependent upon the courts
maybe
to
his
decide.
son.
I'm not
Because if
quite-
we had a court order for
I'm not
child
saying
But
support,
these are issues that the community,
if we had a court order for child support, then it would take another order to set that order aside. It is dependent upon the court to determine what happens. And again, I restate, I'm not an attorney.
Who would repay that money then? Would it be the state, the court, or?
It would be up to the court to decide.
They're the ones got the rule though.
Okay.
I know that.
Might I just say that, Ms. McCorkle, you have given an excellent and
absolutely.
clear explanation of what is obviously a very sensitive and a complicated issue, and you've answered a barrage of questions excellently, in my opinion. Thank you.
And it's not, I want you to know that it's not to put you on any kind of whatever, but to have an open feeling about things that happen and things that I'm hearing and things that I know that has gone on in the community. And the community need to be aware of wrongdoing by females as well as males. And there's the males that's been getting locked up. And that jeopardizes families and grandparents and all like that, and inheritances. So I'm very concerned about it.
What I found very important and enlightening about this was that you showed the thoroughness of this process, and I think that's good for the citizens of Pitt County to know what we're doing, and that it's a thorough process, and that it's an evolving process, as well as, from what I see, it's a very tenacious process, and that you have a very long memory and long arms and are willing to use them. And I think that's good that we are aware of that, because I think sometimes, again, in the community, I think it was felt that child support was not really as active as it should be, and what we're doing is saying that these are the things that we're doing, and we are very active. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Good
Thank
job.
you very much.
Thank you.
Good job.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Let's see. The director's report is next.
Only thing for the director's report is our next board meeting is on August the 13th. That's on a Monday. No Tuesday, Monday.
No Tuesday. Okay. Not that people came on the wrong day. Okay. Let's see. We're going to go into closed session now.
Okay.
If you would read that.
All right. North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11 regarding closed sessions. Section A, permitted purposes. It's the policy of this state that closed sessions shall be held only when required to permit a public body to act in the public interest as permitted in this section. The public body may hold a closed session and exclude the public only when a closed session is required. Also, item number 1, to prevent the disclosure of information that is privileged or confidential pursuant to the law of the state or of the United States, or not considered a public record within the meaning of Chapter 132 of the General Statutes.
I don't know for a motion based on that we go into closed session.
I second that.
All right. Question?
I approve.
Okay.